Alrighty, we're gonna put an outlet with and a light over here by the furnace because there's no place for the furnace man to plug in, and we have a junction box we're gonna come out of. Here in the country I was born in, we use 14 American wire gauge on 15 amps, 12 American wire gauge on 20 amps. Black is live, white is neutral. The bare is the ground wire in this case. So we're using 14.2 Romex on a 15 amp circuit, and I'll show you how to install it. This is the 14.2 Romex. It has a black, a white, and a bare ground wire. Our wire all nice and straight here, flat. Untwist it. So we'll put our switch up here, and we'll put our light right here. Knock some more webs down over here. Get our wire nice and flat up here. Push our wire back here into the corner, nice and neat. And we'll come up to here where we're going to mount our box back in here. put our box right here. I love the There we go. It's nice and solid. When you lose something, you lose it. You don't get upset. And you know what? I lost my knife, but you know what? I'm not getting upset. No, I'm not. Doesn't help. Doesn't help at all. So you just do it the hard way. That's all. Just do it the hard way. And be thankful for what you have. And don't complain about what you don't have. Just do it the hard way. That's all. I love losing my knife. I enjoy it. Because if I didn't enjoy it, I'd be frustrated. Get our wire untwisted. Very staple over here. Okay, so in a metal box, we're gonna put our green screw up here to bond our ground wire to the box. We'll bring this one up here. We'll go around the ground screw there. Close our loop the direction our screw turns. Okay, so we'll get our ground wires together here, and we'll make a tail to go to our switch and to our outlet. And I enjoy forgetting my pliers, so I just go without. I don't get all bent out of shape about it. You just go without them. Okay, so we'll get our ground wires all together here. We have it bonded to our box. We'll get all our copper even on the end here. Take our wire nut, we'll put it on. Okay, so there we go. We'll put our ground wire back into our box here. Get it out of the way of everything so it doesn't touch anything we don't want it to touch. So this is the power coming in. So we'll strip our wires with our 14 gauge hole. Here in the country I was born in, we use a American wire gauge. Use the hole that matches the wire size. So we'll take our black power. Black goes on our outlets are polarized here in the country I was born in. Your black goes on the brass, which is the narrow slot over here. The white wire goes on your silver screw, which is the wider slot. And of course your ground wire goes on this green screw. So we'll take our black power coming in, make our loop the direction our screw turns, put it around the brass colored screw here, close our loop the direction our screw turns. Make sure it's nice and tight. We get a nice connection like that. We'll get our black jumper wire to go to our switch. Make our loop the direction our screw turns. Maybe my loop a little bit too big, so I'll back it up a little bit like that. Make sure our copper is under the screw head all the way around and our insulation's not pinched. So we'll swing it around. We'll get our white wires on the silver screw here. sure you get a nice connection like that. There we go, there's our whites on the silver screw. And we'll get our ground wire around our green screw here. I want to get our ground wire over here. I want to keep it down at the bottom, so I'm going to get it untwisted here. The black wire is going to go over to our white switch. So we'll get our ground wire around our green screw here. Make sure it's tight. We have a nice connection here in our whites and our grounds. I'll shape this to go into our box here. Now we'll just hook our switch up. Make your loop the direction your screw turns. And on a single pole switch, it doesn't matter which wire goes on which screw. I strip that one just a little long, so I'll open it up, take just a little bit off. Close our loop the direction our screw turns. Make sure it's tight and our insulation's not pinched under our screw head. Close our loop the direction our screw turns. Make sure it's nice and tight like that. And we'll get our ground wire on our green screw here. I don't like how that loop came out, so I'm going to open it up. take a little copper off. We'll just clip this so we'll make a new loop. So you always go the direction your screw turns. Put it around the screw like that. There, now we have a nice connection. There we go, we got it under the screw head all the way around the way we want it. And this is our mud ring. So we'll put all our wires into our box. Okay, so we'll put our mud ring on here like this. Put it under nice and tight. Make sure it's tight. Okay, so now we can make sure no wires are pinched anywhere. We'll keep our ground wire down on the bottom. Okay, now we'll put our device into our box here, keeping our ground wires in. Alright, we'll keep this ground wire down, so when we screw this in, we'll make sure our wires are out of the way of our screws. Back here, make sure we're not hitting any wires. Okay, I can see these aren't going to hit any wires. I'll push, make sure it doesn't hit anything. Here in the country I was born in, up is on, down is off. Finish that by hand, so we're going to strip our holes out. Not hitting anything. And that one's not hitting anything. Let's make sure this one's tight. Okay, it's centered on our box. Tighten our screw. Nothing's hitting. That one's not hitting. So we'll get our Romex here. We'll cut it up the middle here. Get our ground wire out of here. We'll strip our wire with our 14 gauge. Oh. This is the Lee Grand fixture we're putting up here. And there's the specs on it. So we'll fold our ground wire. We'll get it up out of our way here. Fold it up nice and small like this. And we'll put it up into the back of our box so it's out of the way of everything so it doesn't touch anything we don't want it to touch. And you'll see a brass screw and a silver screw. Your black goes on the brass screw. So you make your loop the direction your screw turns. Black goes on the brass screw, like this here. Close your loop the direction the screw turns. Make sure you don't get your insulation pinched. Make sure it's nice and tight and it looks like that. I made my white one slightly short, so I'll just take like a 1/16 of an inch off. Make our loop the direction our screw turns. Put your wire around the screw backwards. When you tighten the screw, you open the loop rather than close the loop. So we'll close our loop the direction our screw turns like that. Make sure our copper is under the screw head all the way. Make sure it's nice and tight and you have a nice connection like that there. Okay, I'm going to use my screw gun to put my screws into the holes there, because you sometimes have to fight with these things. Well, it's not going to go, so we're not going to get all bent out of shape out of it. It's not worth getting all frustrated over. If something doesn't fit, it's just simply not going to fit. But there is a slot in here where this screw will be on the outside of the box inside this slot, so I'm not worried about hitting a wire. And this one got all mangled up. The head got all mangled up, so we'll just take it out and forget about it. You can see all the strippings coming off of it. See how nice and easy that goes in? A little bit further here. And we'll put it in by hand so we don't over tighten it. Okay, so our ground wire is up out of the way here. We'll fold our wires into our box. Make sure nothing's going to be pinched anywhere. Make sure our wires don't lay across the terminals because we don't want them to get shorted out above there. So we're going to shape them so they stay like that. And we'll just push it up into our box. Okay, so I'm going to just look, make sure nothing's going to be crossed over anything, and it's not. Okay, so we'll get it up here. Get it up. And we'll just put our screws in so that they're snug. Okay, it's up there nice and snug. 1, 2, it's up there nice and tight. Get these webs down. So these are the wires we're going to hook up into right here. Over the knockout in here. So we'll leave some slack in this wire in case we have to move it someday. So push our slack up this way. So we have a discontinued wire here. We have our white that we're going to strip here. And we'll hook it to our white wire here. Make sure we get them even length here. Like this. So we'll get our copper even on the end, our insulation unit at the top, take our wire nut, and we'll twist it on there nice and tight. So we'll bring our jacket back a little bit further. So we'll get our white back up into our junction box here. We'll get our black onto the black here. We're not going to restrip this or anything because it's old wire and I don't want to make it brittle and crumble it. So I'll strip it the same length there. Get our copper even at the bottom and our insulation even at the top like this. Get our wire nut in here, make sure our insulation gets into the bottom of the wire nut. Make sure they're nice and tight. Push up into our box. I don't want to bend it too sharply and crumble that old wire. I'm going to bring this ground wire and put it up here out of the way. I'll just fold it up here and get it up out of our way here like this. Get it up out of the way there. Push our wires in. Make sure our terminated wire stays up here like this. And we'll just put our cover back on. And make sure our wire nut didn't come off. Okay, we'll finish it off by putting our cover down here on this. I hear John calling me. Hi John, I'm just finishing over here on Seneca Street. Yes, I'm in the cellar of Seneca Street. I'm just finishing. Okay. About how long? Okay, that'll be perfect. Okay. Yep. So that is how to install a circuit for cleaning the furnace here in the country I was born in. Peace. Thanks for watching.